Darvin, what do you see as the biggest reason for the deficit in the first quarter and then eventually at the end of the first half?
I mean, the trip we just came off, you don't want to use excuses. Sometimes they're not excuses. It's just real life circumstances. And we knew in order to make a game of it and give ourselves a chance, we had to start the right way. And, obviously getting in very late, dealing with some different types of weather and different elements. It was going to be tough. And so, but still, our group was competitive. Could have easily, the game could have been easily over in the first half. But again, we calibrated at halftime. Guys came out, competed their butts off, tried to give us a chance to win, and we didn't come away with the W. But I'm super duper proud of our team on the way they performed tonight after getting down and facing a little bit of adversity within the game, but also just over this last stretch of weeks and month, or whatever it's been. Guys just constantly fighting and clawing, and we mishandled a couple games here and there in terms of allowing teams to stay close or get back into it, whatever. But nonetheless, this is a prideful, competitive group, and we had some things that just didn't go our way. And there's definitely a lack of energy at the outstart, and lack of execution, but we pulled ourselves together to try to give ourselves a chance, and that's all you can ask for.
Tyler played Kawhi, I think, 43 minutes the whole second half. Was it difficult for you to think about trying to match some of that by extending AD or LeBron, considering the back-to-back and third and four nights and things along those lines?
Yeah, we went over, but they got into a groove, and you just try to be as responsible as possible with your players' health. So it was no way we were going to allow we were going to be able to do that, and our medical staff was going to allow us to do that. So they did what they had to do to get a win, and we did what we had to do to give ourselves a chance to win, not only tonight, but to keep our players in good standing health-wise going forward.
You said, so there was a minutes limit tonight for LeBron and AD? Was that?
It was a range. It wasn't really a limit. It was a range, and again, it's a group decision. We try to manage and be responsible with their rotation early on, and if we pocket a few minutes and roll out extra minutes in the second half, then we do that, and we did that kind of tonight. But it is what it is. Game's over.
There was, I think, with about 6 minutes ago, there was a timeout. You guys were down like 18 or something like that, and you kept your team in the game. Why did you do that? And then what was the value that you saw from that last 6 minutes together?
Well, just trying to give them a chance to compete. We had some balls that didn't bounce our way. Got caught in some bad positions defensively, had to foul. We were making them miss, and then we had some, unfortunate, a couple of nights without just watching the game, just trying to replay it in my memory. Had a couple of unfortunate offensive possessions, but we also had some moments where, we made some shots, and the guys' energy in their eyes said, let's try to give this thing a chance. But we talked about it in that huddle. Saying we want to give it a couple of minutes before we pull the plug to see if we could make a dent into the deficit. And we did that with the just thing. You can't go back and forth with the team. You can't trade baskets. You got to get consistent stops, and you got to, make sure you get a foul, a bucket, both of those, or three, or something like that, and keep your side of the scoreboard moving as well.
How did those guys, specifically LeBron and AD, come out again that physically, everything else?
They'll go through a normal post-game recovery and check in with the medical, but for all intents and purposes, they're fine.
And then Norman Powell had just a huge game. What issues did you guys have with him? And there's only so many options when a guy's that hot, that physical. But what kind of problems did he present for you?
I mean, just normal Norman problems. You can score at all three levels. He's tough. He can defend. He rebounds. He gets out in transition. He can handle the ball, make the right play, not only for himself but for his teammates. And he's one of my favorite players to watch, and has been so since his Toronto days. And he's one of the most underrated players in our league, and a huge asset for them to be able to bring a guy like that off the bench with championship pedigree.
In your time in this series, this is 11 in a row for them. Do you feel like they are more ready to play you guys than you are them?
I mean, I don't know. I think we we definitely get up for the game. We definitely knew what was at stake, and but it's just we try to go out and just be the best version of ourselves. I mean, it's whoever we play. Yeah, you're gonna get up more for certain games, but I can't speak for them. I'm not coaching them. I'm not in their organization. I'm not a player on their team, so I can't speak for them. So it's just we do what we got to do, prepare to beat any and everybody, not just the LA Clippers.
The plan going forward for Friday night, everyone's available, I'm assuming, right now?
Yeah, we'll see how everyone wakes up in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a playoff atmosphere tonight, but because it was back-to-back, that's not going to happen in the playoffs. Do you take heart in that?
Say that again. What's the last part?
The fact that you heartened by the fact that there's no back-to-backs in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's less travel, no back-to-backs. Gives the team a full day to recover mentally and physically. So yeah, that's why you just start fresh. Everything is 0-0. Whether you crept in the 8th spot or had the best record in the league, the slate is wiped clean. And people talk about home court advantage, but in the playoffs, having been a part of 2 championship runs and a lot of other playoff runs, like you got to win in other people's buildings. So I think that's probably the biggest part of the biggest benefit of being in the postseason is that you don't have back-to-backs.
Darvin, I apologize if Mike asked this in the beginning, but LeBron 3 points in the first half, 30 in the second half. Second time this season, he scored 30 in the second half. What was kind of the tale of 2 halves for him and just the rhythm and the groove that he got into after halftime?
I mean, it's just a real human thing, man. We had to fight our asses off last night, and we had to take a long trip. And we snowed in after the Minnesota game. Had to spend an extra night in Minnesota. We go from 30 degrees of snowstorm to 85 degrees and lovely in Houston, and then go back to another snowstorm. And, our guys weathered all of that. The circumstances wasn't used as a crutch. They're just real. It's a real NBA schedule. Everyone goes through it at some point in their schedule in each and every year. And so it's human nature. These guys are managing foot issues, and we game gets tight, so you want your best players on the floor, your closers, so they have to play extended minutes, and all of that plays into it. And you coming into a situation with a high-level team that's playing, that's got an elite roster that just coming off 4 days off, if I'm not mistaken. So it is what it is. But I'm just, again, proud of the way we competed despite all of that. And that second half, we came out, we had some moments after getting down big in the first half. We were able to climb back in and go up by 1, I believe. And all you can ask for is you guys to compete and be together and hold ourselves accountable and not use excuses. And tough loss, but we'll bounce back for sure.
Last 2, Medina and Dave.
Hey Darvin, in lieu of what you were saying about the guys competing, in what ways have you seen the group grow this season with handling different forms of adversity, and when do you think that turning point started?
Well, it became about how can we help? How can everyone be better and help the program? And how can we fix different things that we're struggling with, as opposed to what's the problem and belaboring a problem and constantly stating the problem and everyone being Captain Obvious, instead of putting our heads together and seeing what's the best way we can move forward. And you have to do that not just in basketball but in life. Identify the problem, start working on a solution, stick to that solution, and continue to grow and be better for it. And that's been the process.
Darvin, you laid out the travel challenges, I guess, or scheduling challenges, and then consider your 2 top dogs are both have real foot issues. There was a reasonable pathway to go past this game and not play the full roster. What do you think you gained from making that decision as an organization, despite the result?
I think we gained that everybody's putting it on the line. They want to put it on the line to make sure we have put ourselves to be as successful as we possibly can be. Everybody's putting their personal hurts, pains to the side and really banding together and putting everything they have to give, whether it's a lot, whether it's a little, based on various circumstances. They're still putting it in the team bag in order for us to try to, again, put ourselves in a position to be as successful as we can possibly be. And that's the beautiful thing, that's the silver lining. Like, we are together, team, staff, organization, everybody's making all the right contributions to get this thing back to where it needs to be. And it's a beautiful thing to witness, a beautiful thing to be a part of, and the journey continues, man. This, you know, we put ourselves in position to really do some special things, and we just gotta, again, pick ourselves up, wipe the dust off, and get ready to double back for these last 2 games and beyond.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Let's get ready for Hoop Jab.